when it is the right person that you're dating, that you'd like to take it to the next step? What signals, or what do I look out for to indicate to me that that person would be the right person to get into a relationship with, to take the next step with after dating?
How do you know it's the right person? I think, as I said at the beginning, it's funny that we're top and tailing the show because we're finishing with what we began with, which is if it's under 6 months, it really is not a relationship. 6 months and over, then you're beginning to develop the kind of relationship where the person is starting to show their flaws, you're starting to show your flaws. Go through your checklist. Is this person, does the person show the characteristics you want in a good father of your children, a lover, a partner, a friend? Look at your rules, what I call your deal breakers, and see, does this person do any of the things that you find objectionable? What are their views on these things? And then beyond that now, what's their family structure like? What's my family structure like? Are they similar? Are they very different? What religious views does this person have? And what are mine? What is this person's political persuasion and what is mine? How do they feel about family, children, career, etc.? Am I career-minded and they're not? These are going to be things that you need to look at, because the extent to which you're both compatible is going to tell you the extent to which a relationship could last long. You could be very compatible and very good friends, but not very good lovers. And equally, you could be compatible as friends and great lovers. You want all three. So is this person my intellectual equal? Can I learn from them? And research shows that people who are 10 points away from each other, what we call 10 standard deviations in IQ, are most likely to have a long-term relationship of any kind, whether friendship or lovers, etc. So if you're 10 points away from each other, then it means that you're likely to be able to get along. You don't have to have the same ideas, you don't have to study the same areas, but you're going to be able to interact with each other intellectually in a way that's satisfying. And you're going to be able to listen to each other's ideas. Then psychological makeup. Does this person act out emotionally for every single thing? And I am the cool and calm one? Well, that's for me a formula for disaster, because it means that I'm always going to have to make the peace and this person is always going to be the volcano. And that's not healthy. If we have similar psychological makeups, then we tend to be able to get through disagreements much better. And disagreements are important in a relationship. You must disagree. You can't agree on everything. You're not clones. But how you solve the problem is what's going to tell how long the relationship can last. And if we solve problems by giving in all the time, or compromising all the time, or shutting up all the time, that's not healthy. Okay? And then sexual compatibility. Do we want sex at the same frequency? If I want sex 14 times a week and you want sex 14 times a year, we have a problem. Because there are only going to be 2 months when you want sex twice. All the other months you only want sex once. And I want sex twice a day, every day, 7 days a week. Big, 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 big red flag. If the sexual activities you want are not the sexual activities I want, and I am not doing the freaky stuff that you want, then your 14 times a year are going to be unpleasant. You're not going to be happy with the sex that you get, no matter how low your libido is. And then lastly, if I think of sex as fun and adventure and release, and you think of sex as reproduction and holy and a way to symbolize cementing matrimony, we are not going to have fun in bed. This happens in couples all the time. So when couples come to me with what we call desire discrepancy disorder, it's because they've never discovered prior to marriage that their sexual appetites were not matched, and they never discussed it, and they assumed that the other person was going to change their behavior once they got married. And so they end up in a situation that they're now trapped in, and they can't get out of it, and they feel a commitment to staying in a relationship that's not working sexually. So intellectual, sexual, and psychological compatibility, very important in determining if you're going to take this to the next level. And usually that happens within a year. By the end of the first year, Christmas time, there's a breakup. If the guy is stingy and doesn't want to buy a gift, there's a breakup. If he's not so stingy and wants to buy a gift, that's a consolation prize. It will not last until New Year, because at New Year he has to be at the party alone to be able to find his new partner. Okay? So the relationship is going to end at New Year, and it could be the girl. It's not just the guy. So after the first year, couples kind of make a decision if we're going to be in it for another year. Once they pass that 1 year marker now, and they're moving towards the second year, the woman starts saying, when are we getting married? 2 years into a relationship, if nobody's made any decision about what you want to do with the relationship, and you don't want the same things, it's time to get out. It's time to bail and time to look elsewhere. However, if you're perfectly happy with the relationship going on as is, and you're not looking for something more, and neither of you is, perfectly fine, you continue. But beyond 2 years, we're now falling into a rut. So you have to make up your mind. Do you want marriage out of this? Do you want it to stay as it is? Do you want it to grow? Do you want it to end? So usually 2 years is a litmus test. People come to me within 2 years of a relationship. That's your honeymoon. So if in 2 years things are going bad, you've missed the honeymoon phase. You need to stop that relationship. If you're fighting in the first 2 years, you didn't have a honeymoon. You're obviously not getting along. So you were given 2 years of just bonus points to get along and be in love with each other and be all infatuated.
Then the work begins.
Yep, and it becomes work.
Is it really work though?
Yes, it is. It's work, but for the couples who have the right components, who come to the table with the right ingredients, I call it happy work, not hard work. It's a joy to work at the relationship because you know that the benefits are so huge. You just know that the payoff is worth it. And when you're miserable and you're quarreling when you see a partner, you forget the miserableness and the quarreling, and the problem doesn't go away, but you're willing to work at it. And I think that makes a big difference. So couples that are very compatible, it becomes happy work for them. And they really enjoy the next phase and the next phase and the next phase. I had one of my model couples the other day who terminated treatment, and that's how we know when things are going well, when they don't need me. And they said to me, I don't know why we've come. We don't really need to talk to you. We don't know why we're here. We're through, we're finished. And that was wonderful. And they're like, we never knew it could be this good. They're not yet married. This is pre-marital they came for, and they're like amazing. They're doing so well. They're doing a lot of the work that married couples haven't begun to do. And they're ecstatic, and it's a joy to watch them. It's an absolute joy to see how well they're getting along, how much they're communicating better, how great the sex is. It's fantastic.
So for people who are not yet married, maybe they aren't sure, but they're past that 2 year phase.
Absolutely.
Would you recommend them coming in?
Absolutely. If they are undecided, then it might help. It could also end the relationship. I have had relationships where it ends because they've got to a critical point where they thought, can't go any further. So that happens, but most people who come for therapy end up with a better relationship than the one they started with. And that's what makes us continue to do it. Because there are scientific methods, there is research, and they work. They actually work. Which is perhaps why the therapists enjoy good relationships. I don't know.